This is, and it's probably going to be a short nugget, but a fun one. Because, yeah, I'm just going to tell you something funny. Me and God have had some really weird conversations this week. And because of that, I've been like turning over multiple different things I wanted to share with you. I've had like 3 different nuggets in my head. And I kept changing which one I wanted to share every day. Like it was like, no, this one. Okay, no, wait, the other one. And then on my way here, you know what? I'm going to switch to that one. And it's really funny that God does that because I'm like, God, I still don't know which one. And then got the mic. It was like, okay, we're going to talk about animals. So now I know which one. I love that. I'm just mostly sharing that with you because it's funny that God will just give you what you need in the moment. Like you already had it, but then like the moment you need it, it's like that one. So it's awesome. So I'm going to talk about animals, but more specifically, God's perspective. And I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but don't worry. I'm going to make it make sense. I'm not going to just like talk, though I could, but... So, okay, some of you know this. Some of you may not know this, and some of you may have known this and forgotten, but I love sharks. Yes, I know, they're crazy creatures, but I love them. And there's a reason that I love them. A big part of it is mostly because I just find them weird and fascinating. Well, so is everything underwater because it's like an alien planet. But the reason I'm bringing up sharks is because I'm talking about like God's perspective of them. You know, like there's this look of sharks in the world, right? Like they are always painted as the supervillain of the ocean. And let me tell you, there's so many more evil things underwater. Sharks are not the worst thing, but they're always the villain. And, you know, when I look at that from that perspective, thinking about, you know, just how God looks at them, you know, like when God created a shark, was it meant for evil? You know, like that's hard to picture because God's not evil. Why would he create something to be evil? You know? And the more I researched it, the more I looked into sharks, I started finding some really weird and fascinating things about them, the different types, what their motivation is. Not that they're actors, but, you know, whatever. And it kind of got me thinking about the same way we look at people. Like when people do bad things, there's automatically this, oh, that's a supervillain. Like we do that same thing in the movies. Man, when there's a bad guy in a movie and you're just over here thinking, why haven't they, like, shot him already? And I know that's dark, but, like, there's that, like, okay, I'm going to tell my mom a little bit here. Because that was, like, one of the things. We watched the crime shows, and you know, the cops are always chasing the bad guys, hunting them down. This is just the worst guy on the planet. And by the end of the show, you're always like, Mom's over here watching him. They're in the sights of the cop's gun. And she's like, shoot him! It's so weird to think of my mother doing that, but she did. It was funny. But, you know, it's about the perspective. And when you think about that, like, just compared from sharks to people, right? Of course there's evil things in the world. Of course there's things that are done that aren't great, but was that ever God's intention for them? You know, God always sees the good in people. We always have that choice to make bad decisions, good decisions, right? But God always saw you for good. So I started looking at sharks, and I was like, okay, God, what was their purpose? Why are they good? And it's like, the more I looked up sharks, like, I know this is going to be random, but they don't even like the way people taste. That's why most are just shark bites. They don't finish the meal because it's gross to them. And I know that's not exactly comforting. Don't go jump in the water with a shark just for fun. Okay, like, don't test the theory. But like, the humorous and interesting part about it is that like, their intention is never meant for evil. Like, how could a good God create something for evil? And the answer is he couldn't. Evil things happen in the world. But that was never God's intention. And we look at, there's a verse in James I'm forgetting, but I know what it says. It's like, you know, every good and perfect thing comes from God, right? And if that's true, then if we look at things from God's perspective, whether it's people or animals or just random things in the world, I'm still on the fence when it comes to mosquitoes, you know, nature's vampire. I really hate those things, but they were never intended to be the evil pain in the butts that they are. God had a purpose for everything. And when we look at things from his perspective, it kind of changes the view, especially when it comes to people. And I guess like my real purpose in sharing this, like the whole shark journey here, is just to know that like even when we're looking at people, what their intentions are, like know that there's still something in them that God sees as that awesome little child, like, and there's that always going to be that perspective of, God put good in you, God put good in them. It's just the way he created you with an intention. And so, yeah, that is my golden nugget of randomness with sharks, because I love them. And yeah, there's a box for giving if you want to give. If you want to give a note or draw a picture, we love that too.